Hey, new day. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, especially subscribe. Apparently you got to have like 1,000 of them. So anyway, I'd appreciate it. And just an update, everything's healing fine. And my brother sent me a big face shield and told me to stop being an idiot. A couple people commented and said, you're an idiot. Some professional guys too, even with the comments that were kind of negative, there was some good advice in there. And I promise I will try to do better. I should probably be a better example in case little people are watching. But I just got a new project dropped off. I'm super excited. I mean, super excited. I've kind of wanted one of these since I was a kid. It was on some TV program. They used one. So a Denver fire guy, a friend of a friend of a friend, heard what I was doing, had this project. He just you know, it's like a lot of projects. Just sat there and he's just like, look, if you can do something with it and it'll help you out, here you go. So a big thanks to Eric, superstar, really nice guy, and he just gave this to me, which is nice since I couldn't have afforded to buy it. So thank you, Eric. You guys want to see how ridiculous this is? It's so ridiculous. It's fantastic. Hold on. Look at this thing. It's so little. 6 wheels, 6-wheel drive. You steer it like a kind of an old skid steer. And it's supposed to float. I can't wait. I can't wait. We're gonna drag this in the garage right now, since I cleaned just enough to get the front of the shop open up. Not quite sure how I'm gonna do that. It currently doesn't want to roll. But the motor runs, the transmission's in a billion parts. I've never worked on one. This is gonna be exciting. Can't wait. Join me. All right, had some help. It's not heavy. I'm not supposed to push more than 30 pounds, if you can believe it, with my bag. I'm not supposed to lift more than 20 pounds. So I really am trying not to hurt myself anymore. Maybe lessons learned. This thing's adorable and ridiculous, but what a great concept. So I looked up some pictures. These things swim. How fun is that? Anyway, I'm not quite sure where to start with this. I've never seen or worked on anything even close to this type of all-terrain vehicle. I think I'm gonna start with just getting some of the trash and stuff out of the outside, vacuum it out, and look at the gear sets. So they have gears and chains that run all 6 tires. Take a look at that. I know it was outside. You can see all the sun damage. And if it floats, it's shaped like a bathtub, right? So I'm sure a lot of it's really rusty. But really my concern is how worn out are all those gears. It just sounds expensive. Free things that you get are like getting a free puppy, right? No such thing as a free puppy. You gotta buy kennel and food and all that stuff. This is a free puppy. So, but I like the puppy. Anyway, I'm gonna clean it out. Windshield. That's cool. Floor pan, must be because there's the control holes for the controls. Seatbelts. Probably need some new seatbelts that are pretty crunchy. Probably the back of the seat. No, that's probably the bottom. Here's the back. What do you think, clutch? A lot of nuts and bolts. Roll bar. Try to get all that tape off, get it cleaned up. Back cover, springs and stuff. Grab a Ziploc real quick. Not a Ziploc, but I've got a coffee can. Maybe. Okay, let me get some help. Lift this part off. Oh, girls! Come help! All right, got the body portion off. Had some help. Girls didn't want to be filmed, so anyway, they lifted it. Let me switch this around, we'll take a look. Well, there's the guts of one of these things. It definitely had water in it. Look at all that rust. Wow, okay. Have to do a little research, see what it takes to take one of these things apart. I'm just gonna start today probably by vacuuming it out and trying to get all the leaves out. Try to take a better look. Some of the changes are there. The gears so far in the profile, they don't look too worn to me. Maybe it's just been sitting a long time. Interesting, really interesting stuff. I love stuff that moves around and turns and you can see it. And really clever. All right, I'll get going to that point. It's no joke. It's about all my back can take leaning over. I gotta take a break. Give you a better look in a second. So I'm gonna try just knocking the lug nuts off the center one, take a look at the axle, see how hard that's gonna be to take off. I think I'm gonna have to pull the shafts all the way around and take out the whole middle frame, which I wasn't really counting on. There's a whole thing of rust on the outside frame on the bottom part. It's a C channel and the whole bottom part is rusted away on this front part, both sides. I'd like to have a better look at that, see if I need to maybe weld in some small angle iron. Anyway, good place to start anyway. Everything's got to come apart and get cleaned. So here we go. Oh, special thanks to Jeb. I don't know if you can see that. It says thanks, Jeb. My brother overnighted it. wiggle this free. I'm not quite sure where to put a jack stand under it because it's that plastic tub and then the frame's inside. I didn't want to try to jack it up or do something until I kind of understand how it goes. I don't want to crack that plastic. It'd be game over for me, I'm pretty sure. So. Yeah, it's just a gasket and a flange and the axle. Doesn't seem too bad. Well, I'll keep working on it. I think I can put some support under this. After you pull the shaft though, I'm just not sure how to treat the plastic. Maybe it's got some jack point. But I did find the registration underneath the top part of it. This is a 1992, made by Max. It's a 16 horsepower unit. I don't know if it's like 600 something T. Anyway, so 92, it's getting on. It was registered here, so it's been pretty dry, and I don't think it had a ton of miles on it. I think it's just been sitting outside. Well, I'm gonna block this up and get the other runs off. So I decided instead to disperse the weight. I've got some 8x8 just cutoffs that I just pushed over here to disperse the weight across the whole thing, and then lifted it up a couple inches. Should give me enough room to get all the wheels and tires off and try to start getting some of these axles out. And hopefully, we'll see. I don't know if I can get to it today, but maybe try to get this whole carriage out. And I know a few people, friends and family, have been like, well, why aren't you working on your fire engine? I just jump around a ton. It's hard for me to stay focused. And that's just the facts. I just take breaks from stuff. And anyway, I will get to it. When the weather cools down a little bit. I do need to finish up some painting, but I obviously need to get the garage somewhat tidy before I throw some paint. That'll be exciting. That thing's amazing. I did get it fired up. There's a bunch of things I did that I didn't film that I probably should have. But anyway, we'll get back on track. Hopefully by maybe next summer. That's a good goal. Have it at least moving down the road on its own, engaging the pump, that kind of stuff. And then really after paint, the hose bed's actually up in the loft. I'll have to get some equipment in here and some friends to help get that down. Once bodywork and paint, then it's really all the gold leaf, the flourishy stuff. So that's gonna be amazing. So anyway, it is coming. It's on my to-do list. I get distracted. I don't know how long this is gonna take me to do, but I'm hoping I can kind of knock this out. I just want to drive it. So anyway, bear with me. Okay, wheels and tires are off. Have a good look at this. Boy, the front's bad. Wait till I show you the kind of braking drum. It's that clamp type where the brake pads are on the outside and just squeeze the drum. And that side is rusted completely through. This must have sat at an angle for a long time with all the water coming to the front. Hopefully I can save axles, but the two sprockets, they actually look like they have the most wear out of all the sprockets. And of course that drum. I'm going to start with this, even though this potentially is the hardest one. See if we can get our tools on there and break this all apart. Got work on the inside now. Look how rusty this is. See that? Totally missing. Thought it was just the one side, but it's definitely both. I got to get this bolt undone. That's a pin that holds this gear and brake assembly onto the shaft. And then this pin gets removed. And I think then the whole thing can come through. Try to get the brake apart. Okay. So I don't really need to worry about the brake anymore. Tried to just shove it over and it just disintegrated. I couldn't get anything on this nut. It's just too rotten. So I'm gonna see if with the impact I can at least shock that loose. If I can't, then I think I'm gonna have to bring out the torch and heat that up. Impact did it. Not as bad as I thought. Now getting this part off of here, that's pretty well glued. Let me think about that first. Whew. After a couple hours of messing around with that thing, finally was managed to get that puller on there. But man, that thing, see, I'm wearing it. That thing was just glued on there. So I cleaned it with the wire brush attachment to my angle grinder. Almost there. But that's just one. That's just the one side. But I cleaned it. I actually put some heat on it, which I was really worried about because it's plastic underneath. So, but once that's off, I'm gonna tack the other side, and then we're back on track, I hope. Oh, totally loose. Excellent. So there's a bearing with a race. And this plate holds it in, and there's a gasket right here that keeps it waterproof. Look at that, totally gone. Totally gone. So if I can't find a new one, I'll cut this off. Maybe we can find a diameter pipe that would work. We'll cut it off, weld it back in. I don't know, we got options, but wow, look at the pitting. I don't know if you can see. Yeah, pitting in there. Best to replace. We'll see if we can do that though. Cool. Next side. Whew. It's actually day 2. I haven't struggled taking something like this off so hard in my life. This gear that slips over this, I heated it up, which is always it was a total concern of mine because the tub is plastic, so I couldn't get it as hot as I wanted to, but just the rust and the grease in there, it was completely glued, and it didn't come free till I had used a puller to pull it all the way off. Like that last even centimeter, couldn't budge it. Actually hit it with a hammer, that probably wasn't a good idea. The other thing is that this one got bent with the puller, so I'm hoping maybe I can heat it up the whole thing since it's steel. Use the press it flat. If not, I have to find another one of these. So after this, and to get these out, there's this collar. You need to remove the Allen key out of here and almost like figure out how to break that loose and slide it towards the flange so that you have room on the inside to get this up where you can get a tool on the end. The other thing is this is hollow all the way down. The ones in the front, it was hollow just part of the way, so there was something to push against. So I had a piece of this rod, this threaded dowel rod that was just the right diameter. I welded, cleaned up a nut, knocked off all the corners, so it's like a plug, and I just, like this, ran it through so it hits this plate on the bottom. Then I have something to push on that isn't this surface, so I didn't mess it up. And then the problem with that is that it's such a long stretch for a puller. I mean, it's really long. I even tried using a two-jaw puller and just getting the ends. I filed them down to go in these little holes, thinking maybe that'd be enough, and it just tore that up. It stayed in there. It just compressed the steel. So what I'm hoping to do is get this cleaned up, see if I can straighten it or somebody can straighten it, or find another one, and then maybe throw it on the lathe, clean up some of these marks I made, make sure it's true. Yeah. So anyway, all this time, all day yesterday and all day today so far, it was easier getting the front ones off that were super rusted. These were just impossible, and there's less room to move around and do things, and there's, like I said, there was nothing to push on. I think if you were ever going to do this, really make that collar and that bearing all the way down here if you can, so you have some room to get this up into the tub. And then I think you're going to need something like this as well, just something to push at that will center the puller. I also consider drilling some holes, like 3 holes through the gear itself, close to the body, and threading them, and so that I could put a bolt through it and, you know, make like my own, and then push off this top of that threaded thing I just put in there to pull it, so I'd have make sure it held tight. Use some grade 8 bolts. I don't know if that's a good idea or not. I didn't try it, but holy cow, guys. This free puppy is kicking my tail, no joke. And I have to take lots of breaks, but I mean, I still haven't done the main drive axles. Those have to come out too, just to get the frame out to weld it. We'll see about this one. Might end up in the parts for sale pile. Anyway, let me know what you think. I'm gonna try to be posting Monday, Wednesday, Friday, maybe weekend one if I get a lot of material. Like I said, I'm a little slow. I apologize for that. Yeah, crazy project. I really thought I could just pull it all apart, clean out the bushings, get that bottom part welded, put it all back together, and at least have the thing rolling, and then worry about the engine, which the firefighter I got it from, he basically did a full service on it, and he started it, so I know it runs. The other thing that I didn't mention is that the transmission, which is like for skid steer, because you drive it like this, is in a bucket of pieces. I've never done anything like that either. But that's how most of us are, right? We're just doing the best we can, and you know what? If you get in there and you break something, you break something. How else are you supposed to learn? So get in there, get to your own project. I'll let you know how this one turns out.